Gonna go. Going. Well, I need to make sure this one's recording too. There it is. It's going. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. I'm back in the saddle. One game, 24-hour brief window. The New York Knicks have taken game one. They have taken the lead in the series of the NBA Finals against the San Antonio Spurs. Jalen Brunson having a, it's weird, but it really is. It was Jalen Brunson's probably biggest game of his career, biggest legacy game, despite having an injured knee, despite having an injured ankle. Went out there, put up a huge fourth quarter to elevate the Knicks past the San Antonio Spurs to capture game one. We're going to be diving into all of it today. We're going to be diving into what and how, well, first of all, how the Knicks were able to dominate the Spurs in the critical moments, and secondly, what went wrong for the Spurs, and how are they all ever going to bounce back in game two. We're going to be taking a look into both of that, and then we'll be wrapping up with some little NFL stuff going on, some little transactions that I wanted to be aware of just at this point. So that's going to be the game plan. That's what we're looking into today. I hope you all have enjoyed game one, because it was, I know a lot of Knicks fans were very tense throughout the entirety of it, and Spurs fans as well. But a huge game one that I'll be breaking down and getting into right now. So without further ado, let's get into it. 7:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here for another episode of Free Refill. Episode 65 starts now. Let's get into the game one of the NBA Finals between the Knicks and the Spurs, of course. New York came up huge in a big game one, specifically Jalen Brunson dropping 13 of his 30 points in the fourth quarter. Karl Anthony Towns playing incredible defense, a couple big threes. Some key timing spots from OG Anunoby, Landry Shamet shooting 50% from beyond the arc. Basically, it was sort of, business as usual, I would say, for New York. Definitely a lot closer than a lot of their previous encounters that they've had. But they went into San Antonio, and I think a lot of people were anticipating that they would steal game one, and they did tonight. Or rather, they did last night. Obviously, early, I think there was a lot of tension going in when you think about, Jalen Brunson first getting the knee hurt, then the ankle injury, right? It was a very much kind of a hold your breath moment there for the entirety of New York City. But of course, and with all honesty, a lot of what Brunson did in this game, we obviously, the huge fourth quarter, a huge three late in the game. But in terms of the first, second, and third quarter, first quarter he struggled heavily. Second quarter kind of stabilized. I want to say it was got it back to 4 for 8 from that point. And then third quarter struggled again, and then came up huge in the fourth quarter for the Knicks down the stretch. It was very much a defensive struggle for a large chunk of the game in general. But for what San Antonio, let's look at it from Brunson's perspective, of course. I think there was definitely some lackluster game planning from the Spurs, and we're going to get into that. But some highlights from the Knicks side. Obviously, you have to start with Jalen Brunson. You can just gush on about his performance. The edits have been everywhere, all over Instagram, all over TikTok, pretty much where you can find social media. You've probably found a Jalen Brunson hype edit in regards to, hitting that clutch shot and to being able to play in this game despite the early contact to the knee, the early contact to his ankle, right? And still coming in and putting on a huge show for the New York Knicks to be able to steal game one and put the Spurs put the pressure immediately on San Antonio to make sure that they win game two tomorrow. The Knicks did that. The Knicks did that right away. And while we all can sit here and credit Jalen Brunson and what he did, and of course the Knicks don't win that game without him, the rest of this team stepping up in a lot of big ways. Particularly, we've got probably one of the best defensive performance on Wemby this entire playoffs was Karl Anthony Towns in Game 1. I mean, for one, Wemby was out-rebounded by Josh Hart, so that tells you a lot in that regard in terms of the Knicks' hustle and ability to get boards, play a quick, high-tempo offense that makes it very difficult for it was a 14-point lead, and for them to sort of push the pace when they really didn't need to. And really, to be honest, shouldn't have at all, was definitely I would say a shock. I would say it was definitely shocking for them to push the pace in those situations as much as they did. But you got to give credit to Karl Anthony Towns in a lot of these moments to why Wemby struggled and to why not just defense. Like, Wemby was great defensively. He had his blocks. He was going to get his blocks. We knew this. But physically one-on-one with Cat, in terms of the way Cat was playing defense, Wemby just couldn't get really a whole lot on him. And Wemby has to be a lot more conscious of that going in, that this is not a Chet Holmgren or a Donovan Clingan or a Rudy Gobert. Karl Anthony Towns is, especially in the last season and now this season, coming into the playoffs and increasing his level of defensive play. It's been night and day in terms of what Cat's been able to do defensively, especially compared to his Minnesota years where he was generally considered much softer and not playing as hard of defense when he was a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And in terms of not just the ability of Cat, but also offensively, not just defensively, I felt there were at least 2 or 3 times in this game where Cat's at the top of the key, Wemby's posted up with him one-on-one, Cat just blows right by him. And you can attribute it to, exhaustion from a 7-game series, and the Knicks being healthy, maybe. But in those situations, I mean, Wemby just can't be beat right off the dribble there and allow an easy layup. It happened 2 or 3 times, and it's just not something that's seen incredibly often with Wemby in general. I mean, you don't see guys just being able to blow by and get a clean layup without Wemby's, long-ass arms coming in and swatting it away. So that kind of was a little shocking to me, just how much stronger and faster Cat looked in comparison to Wemby in a couple of those offensive possessions. And that was kind of what allowed, again, basically, even though the Knicks were trailing at 14 at one point, it's just their ability to have the fourth quarter be the best quarter that they play, as well as their ability to constantly stay within striking distance, within that sort of 10-point range, that 10 to 13-point range where they can go on those runs. And I mean, then they've proven that they can do much more impressive runs than that. Like, they can go on more than, say, a 12-0 run. They can go on, we've seen them go on 18-2 runs, 22 runs in this playoffs and last playoffs. So the dynamic, it's just, the way they play in the fourth quarter is such a way to sustain their overall success. I mean, it aggravates me to a certain extent having to know that fourth quarter offense is that good. It's almost wild to me. It's wild to me in that sense. But yeah, I think Cat's defense was huge. I would also point to not just Karl Anthony Towns, but I mean, OG Anunoby hitting a couple huge threes at key points. He was mostly dormant for a lot of the game, and then all of a sudden there were like 1 or 2 big three-pointers that kept them within striking distance, that kept them in the game. And then looking at not just from OG, but also from Landry Shamet, I mean, to go 3 of 6 again from three-point range, when earlier these playoffs, like, he was basically benched. Like, he didn't really play a whole lot of time early in the series against the Hawks, and for him to come and be that kind of X factor. I mean, also Josh Hart with his 15 rebounds you can attribute to being an X factor as well. But Shamet's productivity from beyond the arc and being able to get into double figures as a bench rotational player is just phenomenal work. I mean, it's very impressive to see what kind of deep the bench of the New York Knicks contributing in huge ways, especially with Shamet. And then Alvarado as well, being able to hit a couple big threes to match Champagnie early in the first half. were huge. I mean, to keep them, because again, like if they don't hit those threes, the Spurs get away with the game a lot faster with how hot Champagnie was early. For Alvarado to keep matching him in those positions, and it was also kind of cool to find out that actually both of them played at the same high school, which was something that I was not aware of coming in, and it was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. Both of them played at the same high school. I wouldn't have anticipated that, but that was really cool to see. So, I mean, hey, very impressive overall by the Knicks, by their X factors off the bench. Of course, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns' defense as well. I do want to see guys like Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson kind of get in, because because I feel like that's the only guys that kind of struggled in this one. Like Mikal really didn't do a whole lot. Mitchell Robinson was okay, wasn't incredible coming off a broken pinky, which I mean, it's a broken pinky. Any broken bone, it's not going to be easy to just come back into the lineup and play well. But I think the Knicks are going to need to see more from those two guys, especially because the Spurs will adapt. I mean, they will make changes. They have to make changes if they want Game 2, if they want to win Game 2 at home, because what they did coming in to Game 1, it just wasn't feasible remotely, and it showed. It showed very early, and it showed throughout the rest of the game. Before I keep going, let me get to these comments real quick. Jay's in the building as always. Jay, appreciate you popping out. Let's talk Wemby shoving in the back off of every pick and during rebounds. That's a thing that happened also in OKC. I mean that's been something that has been discussed in terms of that Wemby kind of always does that, and that was like the first time that really got noticed in this game. I think it was like one time. I think it only got called once, but it's. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm surprised the Spurs got the whistle that they did in this game, especially in comparison to, because at one point, like, the Knicks had, had one free throw for Mitchell Robinson that they had missed. Like, the difference in the free throw percentage was wildly different. I don't know, and that's obviously going to change when they go back to New York, right? Like, the Knicks are probably going to get a more favorable whistle than the Spurs are when they're at home. So, I think for San Antonio, they're going to have to... They're going to have to especially account for just in general. I mean, even there was also, what was it? It was an attempt against Cat. It's the one where he basically slams down and he's just flat on his back, right? And he hits the court hard, and Wemby's trying to block him and basically reaches over him, and somehow they challenged that and it got overturned. And the weirdest part about that was that I don't think it ever got explained. Like, I remember watching the game, like, Wemby gets called for the foul, and then the Spurs challenge, we go to commercial, the foul gets overturned, and I swear to you, I do not remember them, like, explaining it. I don't remember any explanation from the crew. I don't even remember them showing it again. Like, it was one of the weirdest foul calls. I'm like, we're just back in action, no one's going to explain why that got overturned. Okay. Like, there was no explanation. The only explanation I could think was that Cat was grabbing Wemby's arm as he was falling down. But, like, that felt like more incidental contact than anything else. And at that point, like, I don't know how they called it against Cat. That was just a very bizarre one to me. Like, that made no sense. That made no sense to me at all that was not called. The 3 over Wemby was key by OG. Yeah. That was a huge, like, Wemby, OG had, like, a couple big threes. Obviously, I think the biggest three in the game, of course, being Brunson's late. But there were a couple, just, again, like, I think what's so interesting, and I'll get into this when we talk what the Spurs are going to need to change in order to stay in the series. They've got to find better ways to handle Brunson. And I think they have it. They just didn't use it a whole lot. And I'll mention it when we get to it. But I think there is a way where you can reduce Brunson's impact on the game. I mean, you can't remove him from the game entirely. Like, if you're a top 10 player in the league, it's very hard to remove you from the game entirely. But, like, they have the resources and they can game plan correctly to do it. They did it. I remember a specific point in the game where they did exactly what I said they needed to do, and then they never did that again. I was like, why? Why are you not, like, going to the thing that actively worked? Goobmeister's in the building as well. Goobmeister, welcome coming out. You know, Dude, you always comment with these emojis, and I just see, like, it just describes the emoji. Like, I don't know what tool I have. I think it's Restream, but Restream doesn't show emojis. Like, it instead just describes what it is. It's just face orange biting nails, and it's just that 10 times over. So I don't actually know what it looks like. But then, like, also, like, it's just like some whatever, man. I can't even see it. Marcus as well is in the chat. Appreciate you popping out, Marcus, as well. Saying new game analysis is cool, but let's talk the tortoise being racist towards King Jalen. Dog, man, I don't want to talk about no tortoise, bro. I am not Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley could talk up all about the tortoise all he wants, but look, man, I don't know what to tell you. Welcome in Merity Super, by the way, which is just straight up a bot off of Twitch. Like, congratulations. Dog, yeah, okay, 330,000. Wow, that's crazy. No, I'm not clicking your goofy Discord link. Sorry, Merity, just not gonna do it. I need to get one of these days when we're actually able to like have mods at some point. I'm just gonna say, get those bots out of here. Jay saying, yeah, it was called one time out of 10. I counted. He pushed Cat down at one point like a kindergartner to a girl. Look, man. This is what I said. I said this happens as well. Like, Wemby, like, nobody in the league, in my opinion right now, is 100% ethical hoops. By far. Like, there is not, like, SGA is not ethical hoops. I don't, like, Wemby and the Spurs are not ethical hoops. And I'll be honest with you, you can argue with me on this. I don't think the Knicks are ethical hoops. I've seen some of Brunson's flops, especially in last year's playoffs, and some of these, they have been downright egregious. I'm not gonna get into it deep, but there's just not a level of ethical hoops anymore. And I think when we get to like the MSG games, the games in MSG, the whistle's gonna flip. The whistle's gonna flip. It's gonna get loud. You're gonna hear every New York Knicks fan in MSG calling for it. It'll come back around, Jay. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty apparent. But I think also you have to give Cat a lot of credit for also playing in and still playing very physical despite all of that. And I mean, even despite all that pushing, Wemby did not have a good game. Like, box score can whatever, but it was majority Wemby's points were coming from like free throws. Like, he was not having a massive impact on the game. There weren't any, like, yeah, he had like a couple big threes, but outside of that, his effectiveness in the paint was just not there. And before this game, I had mentioned that what the Knicks were able to do in the entirety of this playoff run was be incredible shooting from the paint, like 60% something from the paint. And in the series, when they played San Antonio, even though they had won those games, they significantly struggled from the paint. I think they were like 50% from the paint in this game, which is odd to me because the way they had Wemby play, they had Wemby basically play free safety. They had Wemby sit in the paint. The Spurs did. They had Wemby sitting in the paint, kind of playing back. They wouldn't have him go outside to guard Cat on the outside. And despite that, they still couldn't defend the paint very well, which was bizarre. Like, they still had moments where, like, Wemby had, like, a goaltend against Alvarado because Alvarado was able to get it up on the glass early. Again, Karl-Anthony Towns was able to go blow by him on a couple plays. Like, Cat played a very good game. Just did. Like, he played a very impressive game against Wemby, offensively and defensively. I thought it was very well done overall. So, I mean, credit to Cat. I mean, for stepping up in a situation where I think definitely recently in the playoffs he has, but prior to being a New York Knick, just had never done. Marcus saying more towards racism will stop Brunson. It sure worked that fourth quarter. I don't really think it did work that fourth quarter, Marcus. It worked for the first and third quarters, and somewhat of the second, but I would say he more stabilized and was fine in the second quarter. Fourth quarter, though, it failed. It broke. Jay also saying flopping is the new method. We went from Euro steps to flopping. Yeah, which is worse. I would much rather go back to Euro steps. I'm surprised, and again, like the NBA has a rule on flopping. It's just never enforced. I don't know if it'll get enforced more next year, and that's something that Silver would actually want to double down on. But I mean, it's not an ideal pairing. Like, the idea of flopping heavily in this series is just not something that is particular to me is not something that should be encouraged. I mean, everybody is against it. It's pretty obvious that no one is good on the flopping. But if you're gonna introduce a rule, you have to enforce it, or you have to let like officials actually like enforce it. You have to say like, hey, these are rules. We're gonna start enforcing this. You gotta start calling these more because it's getting to the point where it's egregious. Like people can see it. And when people can see that the product has gotten worse as a result of you not taking action on something, like people are going to complain about it, and the fact that they haven't done anything about it is a little disturbing. So we'll see if it changes at all next year. I doubt it's not going to happen in the finals, especially not this finals. But we'll see if it takes any impact throughout the regular season going in through next year. But at this point, flopping is not gonna get solved in this finals. It's gonna have to wait till October to have any sort of resolution to changing it. We're gonna have to wait like 4 months. It's goofy, but that's where we're at with it right now. So yeah, Knicks were able to steal game 1. Incredibly impressive performance, pretty much all around. I would say. I think the couple players could have stepped up and played better. Let me flip the script though. Let me talk about the Spurs because I gotta be honest. Coming into this game, I'll start with a generalization and then kind of break it down player by player. But coming into this game, it felt like San Antonio didn't have a full-fledged plan. They basically, so many times, it felt like they wanted Victor Wembanyama to do things that, to be frank with you, he wasn't doing against the Thunder. Like, it was not very often, at least from what I could see, that Wemby had the ball multiple times at the top of the key, right? Like, they were trying to basically have Wemby be like a weird, almost facilitator at certain points in this. Like, it felt like it just felt off. It felt so weird to me that they had just Wemby with the ball in his hand so many times when really that's not his role. His role is that he's going to get like in position to be able to make for like alley-oops, to be able to get into the post and then post up against either Karl Anthony Towns or Mitchell Robinson. And so many times he's at the top of the key. Like Wemby's a better shooter than you would think for someone of his stature. That does not mean he is Kevin Durant. Like, it's far from that. He needs to be in the paint. That is where he needs to be. And way too many times, he's outside, he's at the top of the key with the ball in his hands. And it just felt like, why is that not De'Aaron Fox? Why is that not Dylan Harper? Why is that not Stephon Castle with the ball? Wemby needs to be in the paint significantly more offensively. And it just didn't make any sense why he wasn't there. And I get it. Going from one end of the court defensively all the way to the other end of the court's paint, like it's 94 feet, especially for someone who's 7'4" who has to get down there quickly. But Cat did it all the time. It's like, why is he bringing the rock up? Like, why is he bringing this up to the front of the court? Why is it not somebody else? Why is he the one actively dribbling it up the court? It makes no sense. He needs to be in the paint already. He needs to be getting disruption. He needs to be in there against Cat, and multiple times he just wasn't. So I think in game 2, San Antonio needs to make it clear it needs to be Harper or De'Aaron Fox bringing it up. That needs to be more of the game plan. Speaking of which, I already know who I would want in that position already. I don't understand what we were doing putting De'Aaron Fox out there. I don't know what the Spurs are trying to do there. In terms of, I mean, what was it? Three buckets, 5 fouls, 3 turnovers. Fox was a borderline terrorist in the fourth quarter. It was atrocious, especially when you consider how well Dylan Harper played in the early parts of this game. Dylan Harper was getting to the basket, was getting tough buckets, was making better decisions with the ball. Fox didn't play well. And at this point, I don't care that, Dylan Harper's a rookie. That doesn't matter. You're in the playoffs now. Dylan Harper's one of your best players. Dylan Harper needs to be getting more minutes, especially if you're going to have Harrison Barnes out there getting minutes. Why is Harrison Barnes getting double-digit minutes in the NBA Finals? When you look at the Spurs roster, why is he getting those minutes over, say, someone like Carter Bryant? Why is he out there? It just made no sense. He did nothing. It was basically 12 useless minutes. I don't know if that was his like minus 12, but that's what it should have been. Like, it felt like Harrison Barnes had like no impact in this game at all, and yet why is he getting time on the floor? It just made, to me, it made no sense. I would frankly be annoyed. Like, if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm like, why is Barnes out there on the floor, right? Why is Dylan Harper like playing sparing minutes in the fourth quarter when he was playing very well early in the game? And then Julian Champagnie just completely disappeared in the second half. Like, I think he make a basket in the second half? I didn't see him make a shot. So a lot went wrong for San Antonio, obviously, in the second half. And then the other big thing is just your Wemby minutes. Your Wemby-less minutes. When Wemby's not on the floor, right, obviously your defense is not of the same caliber, right? Unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, it's going to happen. Your defense is going to fall off. So then if your defense is not going to be as good, you know that actively, then why are you speeding up the offense? You know your defense is going to be worse. So why are you giving the Knicks more time offensively to cut into a lead? It felt like their timing, their tempo was completely off. So a lot just went, a lot of it just went so poorly. Like, it felt that there just wasn't a complete game plan. It felt like they went into this and said, we're the younger team, we're the more youthful team, but we're going to be able to win because we're young and we're youthful. No. This is a grizzled, experienced Knicks team. This is a Knicks team that is also well coached. I mean, Mike Brown made Sacramento look good at times, so you know that he's a good head coach based off that alone and having been to a finals before. So he has experience as well. It just felt from the jump, no matter what, at any moment, the experience difference was felt right away. You could feel the physical impact. You just could see it. It was visible on players' faces. It was visible on body language. It was visible on any like plays in the second half for the Spurs. It felt fundamentally, it felt off. They felt like the younger team. And if they want to have a shot at keeping this a competitive series, because I'm going to be honest, based on how they played in Game 1, and if they are still gassed, Game 2 could go from bad to worse if they don't correct some things. Number one, Wemby needs to be in the paint. That's already been established. But the biggest key to San Antonio is, how do you slow down Jalen Brunson? Because that was, at the end of the day, that was what killed you in the fourth quarter. And that's what it is. Now, number one, Brunson, now obviously I don't think he's hurt significantly, but he's going to keep getting hit. Like, it's just going to be a physical series. They're going to need to put bodies on Jalen Brunson and make him earn every basket. The other big thing, though, that I think that they did against SGA a lot when they played the Thunder. They did this a lot. They trapped SGA multiple times. They would have Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell swarm him. Basically say, you got two options. One, you can take a bad shot, or two, you can get it out to someone else. And that is something that they did. They had at least one sequence very early on where they did that against Brunson. Vassell, Castle, I don't think it was Vassell and Castle. I think it was either Vassell and Champagnie or Castle and Champagnie, but they closed in on him on the right side, which is his non-dominant hand. He's a lefty. His non-dominant hand is his right hand, forcing him to the right side, saying, it's going to be a very difficult shot. You have to give up the ball. And that's what they need to do. They need to force Brunson out to his right side, and before he can turn a corner, they need to bring someone else up and trap him in that spot. Basically say, you got to get rid of the ball. You can't take this shot. That's what San Antonio needs to do, and they did it like one time, and it worked. It worked the one time they did it, but they never did it again. And like, you need to do it. When you have something that works and you have proof that it works and you see that it worked, you need to do it again. And you need to do it again and again and again and again until they learn how to stop it. Until Jalen Brunson and the Knicks are able to find a way to get out of that trap set. Because You can't, if you're San Antonio, you can't go in the next game and just let Jalen Brunson beat you. You can't do it. You can't let him beat you like a drum. Make Mikal Bridges make the three. Make OG shoot the three. Make Shamet or Alvarado. Make the other bench guys do it, because maybe they get hot, fine. If you lose to the bench getting hot, then sometimes nothing you can do. But if you do not actively game plan against the opposing team's best player, then I'm sorry, but you're a bad coach. It's bad coaching. If you're not aware of the team's best player on the other side and you're not finding a way to be able to combat it, that's bad coaching, especially with how talented this roster is. And I get it, they're young, and I get it, they're going to make mistakes, but this roster is way too talented to be allowing Jalen Brunson to just dominate whenever he pleases. I know he's done it to Cleveland, and I know he's done it to Philly, and I know he did it to Atlanta. But you're a finals team. This is a genuine finals team. This is a team with way too much talent to be allowing that to happen. If the other players beat you, if Shamet gets hot, if Mikal gets hot, then it is what it is. But you can't allow Jalen Brunson to constantly beat you like a drum. It just can't happen. And they let it happen. At the end of the day, they let it happen. And that's a bad, and even then, Jalen had 30. I still don't think it was a great game by Jalen Brunson by any means. He had two awful quarters and an average second quarter. Fourth quarter, obviously, he dominated. But again, you need to understand, especially in those moments, especially in the fourth quarter where you know he's going to take over, you need to resort to those trap setups more. And they never did. And they did it one time, like early in the game, and that was it. But that needs to significantly change. And really, I think the final question is, and thirdly, Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper needs minutes. Harrison Barnes does not. Harrison Barnes does not need minutes in this finals. He can gladly ride the bench for the rest of it, win or loss. Dylan Harper needs his minutes. He is a young, talented player. He played incredibly well. I don't know why he was played sparingly in the fourth. And I also don't know why you'd put in De'Aaron Fox. Because De'Aaron Fox had done nothing up until that point, and it was actively worse down the stretch. 5 fouls, 3 turnovers, 3 total buckets. It's just 3 shots made. Like, it's not worth it. Just put in the young guy. I don't care that he's a rookie. He's playing better. You have to play Dylan Harper in that situation. That's what the Spurs are going to need to do. That needs to be their game plan. I'm going to tell you right now, Mitch Johnson, I've given you the game plan. I've given you the layout. You got to do the rest. You got 24 hours if you want to make it a chance at winning game 2. Because I'll tell you right now, if they come out the same way they did game 1, it's Knicks in 5. And that's being generous. That's being generous. They need to have a better game plan coming out in game 2. Let's get through these comments here real quick. When your MVP is flopping, what can you do, though? That was Jay. I think the reality is, well, first, you can just punish it. But also, I think that, like, if you say, like, let's say, like, SGA, right? Having all the flopping and having all these issues, I don't think that's a big issue, because I think the narrative on SGA, especially from the fan base perspective, is that most people already don't like the flopping. Like, they think SGA is a very good player, but that's the part of this game that they don't like. If you wanted to basically manufacture your MVP to be what the... Because, I mean, again, I think the fans of the NBA in general want to like the MVP. Like, I don't think they want to hate who wins the award necessarily. I think they would like it to be... Because, like, I think they just want it to be ethical. I don't think that's a big issue, especially if you do it to everybody, right? If you start doing it to everybody, especially if you... I think that's the best way to go about it. If you do it to Shea, that means you're holding the best players accountable, which means, therefore, everybody from the lower ranks down are also held accountable and aren't flopping in that perspective. I don't think it damages the brand if they do it. I think, honestly, it makes the brand more reputable. I mean, like, I think that understanding that taking accountability for something that genuinely needs to be fixed. Like, for example, the NFL has changed a lot of stuff about their league when it's not going well. Like, when kickoff returns were struggling, they changed those rules, and kickoff returns were more dynamic and electric and fun and entertaining. And fans like it, right? They like it when the game is entertaining. They don't want to sit there and see some, like, free throw contest. They really don't. And that's what flopping turns the game into. So by creating a situation where that's not happening and calling it out more and discouraging it from happening and making it have real impact on games when they do flop and they get called out for it, then that can actually have impact and also kind of win back a lot of, I guess, good faith from NBA fans who may think that the NBA has kind of declined in its quality and its ability to run the organization, especially because I know. Listen, there are plenty of Adam Silver haters out there. So, Jay also saying he was bringing the rock up too much instead of getting it to a guard and posting up. Exactly. That was the big concern. It shocked me. It just looked off. And especially, like, at the end of the game, he just turns it over. He just turns it over right in front of Cat. And, I mean, in that situation, that's why you need one of your guards bringing it up. You can't have Wemby bring it up every time. You can have Wemby come up the court slowly behind him, but Wemby can't be the guy with the ball, and Wemby needs to be in the paint. Yes, Wemby can shoot the three, and that's what makes him dangerous, but that's not his specialty. Like, it's not like Wemby has the purple badge and sharpshooter. Like, he maybe has, like, a silver, like maybe gold bat, but he's not like, it's not his main skill. It's not his primary skill. Can he do it? Yes. Should he do that all game? No. If he's posting up, get him the ball, turn around, layup. The same thing. And then pretty much. Just get him the ball in the paint, have him post up, lay it up and in. Like, yes, Cat's playing defense, but he needs to post up against Cat more consistently. And he needs to because that's going to be the rest of the series. Like, the Knicks made it clear. Okay, that worked again. Like, you think the Knicks are not going to run that same game plan back again? They're going to run that same game plan back again because it worked the first time. Like, they're going to do it until it doesn't work. And then, like, San Antonio basically has to force New York to change what their game plan is. That's what they have to do. Mark is saying Carter Bryant looks like a stud Drewski that Drewski would get with on stream. Dude, let me pull up a photo of Carter Bryant real quick just so I could. Because I've seen him, like, play, but, like, dude. He does kind of look like he'd be on a. He looks, you know what? He looks like he'd be on, like, a Kai stream. He'd be one of Kai Sanat's, like, background junkies. Oh my gosh. It just looks too funny, man. But yeah, I don't know why Carter Bryant got like less minutes than I don't know if that's true, but it felt like he got less minutes than felt like he got less minutes than Harrison Barnes, which I still don't understand. I don't know what Mitch like what is it? Veteran like no. Harrison Barnes should not be getting minutes in this series. It's a travesty. But like if they put in Kelly Olynyk, would you think that's a good idea? No. If they put in, oh my God, who's the other guy? I forgot his name. Hold on. I'm gonna know exactly when I see his face though. Like if they put Bismack Biyombo in for those minutes, like is that okay? Like no. Is Mason Plumlee gonna get minutes this series? No. So why on earth is Harrison Barnes getting those minutes? Whatever. Bizarre. Jay saying, what is Tom Thibodeau thinking? They fired him after a playoff run, and now the team in the finals got to crush his soul. Yeah, I'll admit I was wrong. I really didn't think the Mike Brown hire was going to work. Mostly because, I mean, especially in the regular season, this Knicks team looked nothing like this. Like the change to the point Cat for the majority of the finals run, they looked nothing like this. Like this was not the regular season Knicks that played did not look like this team. They just didn't. You want to know how I know? Because the Suns beat this team twice in the regular season. Phoenix beat this team twice in the regular season. Don't shoot the messenger, but that's just truth. That's how I know that this team, this playoffs Knicks team, was not the same regular season Knicks team. Very different energy. Just very different energy and very different play style in general. But hey, I get to say it as a Suns fan. Hey, we didn't lose to the champion Knicks. We didn't lose to them. We didn't lose to them this year. Sweet bliss, really. Jay saying he isn't Dirk. He can hit the three, but post up, score on the inside, let them overplay you there, then move out for the three. It's simple basketball. Right. That's exactly. I don't get. Again, like Wemby is not agreed. Wemby is not like a Dirk, and he's really not like any. He's far from like a Kevin Durant. He's not that level of scorer. That's not his forte. Like, yes, he can do it, but there have been multiple times where he hasn't. Like, even in early, was it, I'm trying to remember. It was either Minnesota or the Portland series. Like, he shot very poorly early on. Like, it was like 0 for 9 from 3 from the start. Like, most of the time, those stretch bigs that can shoot, they're not starting 0 for 9 or 0 for 10, right? Wemby needs to be in the paint. That's where he's going to thrive. It's clear. The guy's 7'4". Where is he going to thrive? The paint. Mitch Johnson, just some malpractice. Barnes getting minutes and Achua on the other bench. Like, why can't I play? Precious, there's a reason you can't play, okay? Precious Achua, there's a reason you can't play. It's because, look, man, there's no room. There's no room in the rotation. Like, actually, the Knicks. Well, it's also because the Knicks bench in general is generally stacked as it is. But yeah, there's a reason you're not playing Precious. It's because they've already got enough big men at the moment. That's what's going on there. But that's what I think San Antonio needs to do. They need Wemby in the paint, Harper more minutes, Barnes less minutes, and learn to actually trap Brunson on the right side. That's what they need to do. That's the game plan. And believe me, they've got the players to do it too. Like, they have the guys that can do it. But they just haven't. It's like, why aren't they doing it? Man, I don't know. But they have the guys that are capable of doing it, and they don't, which is just so. I don't know. It's malpractice. They should be better at it. And now I guess I gotta give my pick for Game 2. I think San Antonio does bounce back and take Game 2. I do think they make proper adjustments. I think in general, I think they'll be better from shooting the 3-ball. I think the Knicks will still be very, very good and effective, and I think it'll be another close game. But I think San Antonio, out of desperation, I think especially now, right? There's sort of we kind of have to win this game, right? And I don't think they will, because if they lose both games, like if they go down 2-0, I'm going to be honest, the series just feels over at that point, right? But if they're able to win Game 2, which I think they do, yeah, I think if they're able to win Game 2, then they'll be able to go out and get done. Jay saying Tyler Kolek, clap, 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 Tyler Kolek. Tyler Kolek. Tyler Kolek. Tyler Kolek. Like, let him get minutes? Oh my gosh. Man, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. I don't even know what you want about this Tyler Kolek guy. But that's what the Spurs are going to have to do. We'll see if they can turn around in Game 2. Which, I mean, something's got to click. I imagine Wemby doesn't have a worse game. If Wemby somehow has a worse game in Game 2, then yeah, the series might just be done, and we'd be But I mean, I don't. Again, this is where I'm like, I obviously don't want the Spurs to win because I think they're going to be a dynasty and dominate for the next 10 years again, which I don't want to see, because that's the series, right? It's, oh my gosh, there's this cool young team. Oh my gosh, they're so exciting and fun. I hope they can beat the team that we all hate. Oh my gosh, they beat the team that we all hate. This team's pretty good. I kind of don't like them now. Oh my gosh, they're winning. They always beat my team. I hate this team. Oh my god, young up and coming team beats them. Like, it's the circle of I hate every single team that's good. Any team that just starts being, it's a circle. It happened with Brady early, it happened with Mahomes, it happened with Shea, it happened even with Boston, I'd argue, and it's gonna happen with the Spurs. It probably already has. Like, you know why? It's faster now. It's faster. I think it's so much faster now because of how much stuff gets put onto social media about them, that when everybody sees it, everybody sees it all at once, and it just becomes so much of a faster burn to hating that team, because then you see them everywhere. Like, trust me, I felt that way about the Knicks already. Like, after they won this game 1, how many Jalen Brunson edits there were of, like, it just says him in front of it, and he'll be like, I'll be all right. Like, it's just, dude, oh my God. And then you see it like 20 times over. I couldn't. I would, man, it's just, if it's not your own team, it's just, it gets so annoying so quickly. Mark is saying, in my prediction for Game 2 is a Torta will break a seat in the upper bowl and crash down like Owen Hart. Owen Hart is what? I thought he was like, I heard Owen Hart and I wasn't thinking WWE, and I'm just like, oh, Kevin Hart's brother, is he like huge? That's kind of hilarious actually, if Kevin Hart has a brother, but he's like 7 feet tall and ginormous. Like, the hearts. Oh my gosh. From the top rope. Jay's saying when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you got to take a stand. It don't help to hide. If you hurt my friends, then you hurt my pride. Man, Jay, my pride is... You hurt my friends, my pride ain't going to change, man. You can get them. Right now, I think the Spurs are going to bounce back in Game 2, but if they don't change up their game plan, then it's going to go very similarly to how Game 1 went. We got like 15 minutes. I want to close things out with some NFL news. I got some NFL a lot of re-signings lately. Obviously, we had the Myles Garrett trade. We had A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots. A couple of big extensions that I kind of wanted to get into. The first one being Christian Watson. Christian Watson, Green Bay Packers. I think it was 4 years, $110.5 million, which I believe per like AAV, like annual like money per year, basically ranks him in like 15th in the middle teens, which is, I mean, it's decent. It's not terrible money, but I gotta say as well, Jesus, man, headphones already died. It's only been like an hour. The issue that I have with it's not that it's a bad extension. Like, I think Christian Watson's a good player. Here's where I have an issue. The big issue that I have with Watson is that yes, he's a number one, and like he's going to be the number one. They paid Jaden Reed already. He's going to be the number two, and then they're going to have Matthew Golden at the three. Here's the problem. You also have to pay Tucker Kraft at some point. You're already paying Josh Jacobs, right? Obviously, Jordan Love's contract factors in. But here's the reality with the Green Bay Packers that I just don't understand. Green Bay, at this current juncture, and let's be frank, have the fourth best supporting cast in the NFC North. Straight up. They have the fourth best supporting cast. Like, I understand moving Christian Watson, like moving Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks to allow like the main guys to come to the forefront. Christian Watson's never had more than 700 yards in a year in season. He's never had 700 or more receiving yards. His max touchdowns was like 7, and it was his rookie year. And remember, I'm pretty sure he had like a 4 touchdown game then, or like a 3 touchdown game in that season. So we're talking Christian Watson, and he's very good. He's an athletic player. He's a big time playmaker, and obviously he's going to get more opportunities. It does feel a little bit like an overpay, and the reality is, I mean, compare him to the Lions. Like, the Lions, I think, have a better supporting core with just Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Then you've got Minnesota with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson, and then you've got the Bears, who've got Rome Odunze, Colson Loveland, Luther Burden, all on rookie deals, all like with high upside coming in, and you've got Ben Johnson, head coach. Like, I don't know, like, and like, people like Matt LaFleur, but he's clearly not the best coach in the division right now. Probably Ben Johnson, you give it to him, and then everyone maybe competes for second, but like, do people like LaFleur as much anymore? I don't know. It's not that it's like an egregious overpay. It is an overpay, but it's not necessarily egregious if you think he's going to have high upside. But dude, he's never had 700 yards in a season, and he was already coming off an injury. So at a certain point, the Packers have the fourth best receiving, like, overall piece-wise with, like, running back, wide receivers, and tight ends. They're the fourth best. Tucker Kraft is coming off an injury. How good is he going to look? And then do pay him as well, right? And Green Bay won 9 games. Like, they were 9-7-1. They weren't necessarily dominant. And then the game against Chicago, they got their butts blasted. Caleb Williams came back and made them look like fools multiple times that year. So, I don't know. I think Green Bay feels very much stuck in neutral. I think it feels like a bizarre move. It feels like just so passive. It feels so passive for a team that made an all-in move the beginning of last offseason to go get Micah Parsons, and then basically their wide receiver core is like, yeah, Christian Watson's our wide receiver 1. What? Okay. It just feels, especially because I think the Lions will be better next year. I think Minnesota will be better with Kyler Murray than they will be with J.J. McCarthy. I mean, I think Green Bay could be, surprisingly, potentially due for a regression, especially if Tucker Kraft's not ready to go by the start of the season. So, I think it's an overpay. I think it's very bizarre. But if Green Bay really thinks Christian Watson's going to step up into a big role, then sure. I mean, but is he really the 15th best wide receiver in the league? Probably not. And that's another thing in general. Contracts have just 100% overinflated. They just have. Like at the rate that it's going, man, these guys make a lot of money for being kind of mid. Like I'll bring up, I had Watson's stats pulled up. Genuinely, it's 611, 422, 620, 611. This man's never put up 650 yards in a season. And sure, I mean, last year was probably his most productive at 61 yards per game. But come on, like, do we really think he's gonna like break out? Like, he's at 27, so he's not like old, but he's not young either. It's just, it feels like an overpay, and it feels like Green Bay's kind of just going to sit back in the driver's seat with a Micah Parsons, who, by the way, also coming off significant injury. For a team that made an all-in move last year, it feels so passive comparison to what the NFC is likely going to look like going into next season. So that was the Green Bay side. That was a transaction that happened with Christian Watson. Let me flip to my main team. I am the Steeler aficionado. Two big contract signings. I'm going to start with the first one, Nick Herbig. So, surprisingly, 4 years, $25 million. 4 years, $25 million. That puts him at, what, 4 years? $25 million a year. Now, a lot of people will point to the fact that Nick Herbig is not a starter. He doesn't start for Pittsburgh. It's usually Alex Highsmith, and it's TJ Watt. I think Herbig is going to be due in for a bigger role. And I loved this quote from Herbig. I need to find it so I can read it off again because it was just so good. When he was after Tuesday's practice, after like getting his contract, basically said, I wouldn't call myself not a starter. I'm a team guy. If you need me to play off the ball, on the ball, need me to run down on punt, I'm a Steeler. There's no starters and backups. I'm a Steeler. That's how like Knicks fans feel about Josh Hart is how I feel about Nick Herbig. He is a guy that wants to just play any given snap overall. He's a grinder. He is that man. Mama, there goes that man. All right. And he had the highest pressure rate. I think it was like 26%. Like it was a 26.3% pressure rate, which was highest in the NFL for next gen stats and all that. Brother, I got to tell you, that is awesome to see. When I see this man, when I see Nick Herbig and what he does, even as a non-starter, like it's so incredibly impressive. He does so much, and it makes me feel so happy that he gets his money. He's going to be a big part in the rotation again. It's brought up a lot of people saying that they might move TJ. I don't think that happens. I think that they'll wait at least a year before that happens. But I am excited to see how this defense performs. I'm excited to see Herbig have another big year. And then he also got like 7.5 sacks. He got his forced fumbles. He got a touchdown. He's that dog. He's that guy. I love seeing what he's doing, and he's going to continue to have a massive impact going into next season and future seasons, as he will probably get more of the rotation once the Steelers either decide to move off TJ or trade him, or he retires, or maybe TJ bounces back and has a crazy year. We have to see. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the future with Nick. As for the other signing, as you can see, he's listed here. Big Darnell Washington. I think it was 4 years, $42 million. Now, the Darnell Washington one's a little interesting, right? Because, obviously 6'7", 300 pounds. He's definitely a specimen. Now, the one thing, of course, is that he's not, the numbers are not necessarily there. And part of the reason that is because I think the Steelers, with their tight end room, suffer the same problem that the Packers suffer with their wide receiver room.
What is
Shut up, video. I don't want to hear it. Random ESPN video. I was trying to bring up his numbers. He's had his highest level of targets with 43, caught 31 of those for 364 yards and only one touchdown. So 4 years, $42 million definitely seems like a lot. But the reality is, Darnell Washington needed that 42 mil. He's impactful as a blocker. He's going to have a better year, especially in terms of regards with, I don't think Pat Freiermuth, they removed Jonnu Smith from rotation, right? So if we go into, let me pull up the Steelers depth chart just to make sure that I'm right on this. But basically, they had removed Jonnu Smith from that rotation, right? He's going to get a lot more snaps. He's basically going to be the de facto starter, presuming he's healthy. Like, I understand it's listed Pat Freiermuth is the one. Don't hear that. Pat Freiermuth is basically like more of a slot tight end than anything else. Darnell Washington will eventually take over. Robert Tonyan's the third is irrelevant. So they're not going to, I don't think they're going to run as many 3 tight end packages. There's no shot that they did that. But I am going to say that overall, Darnell's probably going to be the one. They might run 2 tight ends. They ain't no way they run in 3. They're going to be much better as a 3 tight end set. They're going to be full bore with these 2. And then also like Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf. You know what they're going to be? I will say this. Out of everything, Pittsburgh might be a top 5 rushing team next year, just purely based on the fact that everybody on that team blocks. Because you know DK Metcalf blocks. You know Michael Pittman can get his hands dirty. Darnell Washington's a great blocker. They add another offensive lineman. Pittsburgh wants to run the football. Not that they've never not wanted to do that, but they're going to do it. They're going to do it with Warren, and they're going to do it with Dowdle. They're just going to have that a little two-head monster in the backfield. That's what it's going to be. But I'm very excited for the Darnell Washington pay. I want to see again how much they paid him. It was 4 years, it's $21 million AVV. 13th highest paid tight end. Honestly, if you project he's going to have a breakout year, I think a lot of people would say that's fair to be the 13th, because it's not like tight end's like a super high-end position right now. It's not super coveted, so really paying him anything outside the top, like outside of the top 10 is fine, really. But I'm excited. I'm excited for these new Steelers. I'm glad they got their bag. Now there's the Joey Porter Jr. contract to figure out. That'll probably get resolved, though. I think they're excited for what they're talking about. Listen, I know it's Mike McCarthy. And everyone wants to doubt it. But listen, I'm excited to see something different. For the first time in 20 years, we're actually going to see something different out of the Steelers. Will it be good? Will it be bad? I don't know. But it's going to be different, and I'm excited to see what the offense looks like under Mike McCarthy. And I think this defense is going to still be productive enough, even if the offense struggles out the gate early. Which is probably going to, because, of course, that's just how teams generally struggle out the gate early. It just is how it is. Especially in the NFL season. It's just a weird sort of like acclimation process, even going into the preseason. Get into these comments real quick. Holy overpay, Batman. Man, yeah. Christian Watson's definitely going to, for me, from my perspective, I mean, it's got to be a little bit of an overpay. It's just a little bit too much for me. We got Dick McGavin. Dick McGavin, welcome in over on Twitch. Appreciate you popping out, man. Please enjoy. It's the big bad booty daddy. Join the Discord. Phoenix Suns suck with over 100,000 users daily. Just tell them the big bad booty daddy sent you for exclusive VIP access. Well, thanks, Dick McGavin. Greatly appreciate it. Really appreciate you shouting out shouting out the Discord. Look, man. All right, it's fine. The Suns are gonna bounce back, okay? They're gonna bounce back. They're fixing the culture there. They needed to fix the culture. They needed to fix the great stain that Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and company had left. It's better now. It's better than it was. Just trust me. We couldn't win. We genuinely couldn't win a 10 seed without, despite the fact that the Mavs were actively throwing it the previous year. It's better than it was. Mark is saying, they making a movie about your life. Who is playing you and why? Who's playing me? That's interesting. So this is the thing. Where I used to work, someone would always call me Tom Holland. Okay, no. Frames are back. Okay, weird. Frames just dropped off for a second. Of course, what? Frames just dropped completely. What the heck? Okay. Movie about my life and who's playing me. I don't know if you know, this guy was in the FNAF movie, but he played the main character on a show called Jericho. If you haven't watched Jericho, I highly recommend it. I think I've mentioned it before, but the main character is voiced by a guy named Jake Green, and the actor is Skeet Ulrich. Like, mid-2000s Skeet Ulrich would be me, because Skeet Ulrich is just, to me, the character he plays there is cool. I kind of like that. And he's kind of like almost like a Boy Scout, but like to the max. Like, he knows a bunch of like stuff that he probably shouldn't know because he was like in some, some like mercenary group that fought in the Middle East. And it was kind of cool. I would like Skeet Ulrich to play me personally, but I know a lot of people have said like, oh, I look like Tom Holland. I don't see it. I don't really know. That'd be me. And then if for purely the fact that I think Skeet Ulrich is cool. Or I would really want me to be played just by Woody Harrelson because I like Woody Harrelson as an actor, and also because he looks like one of my like high school teachers. Like they are like look very similar. Like they're like doppelgangers of each other. It's goofy. I don't know. I'm really not sure. I would say Skeet. I would go with Skeet Ulrich. That'd be my main answer. I don't want him playing me. If not him, probably J.G. Quintel, the writer of Regular Show. I'd have him play me, be an actor. Those would be the two guys. Those would be the two guys, I think. Brainy from Hey Arnold as well is in here. Applause for Brainy. Appreciate you for being here, Brainy. He says, me because we are twins. So easy. Dude, Brainy, bro, come on, man. Why does Brainy have to play me, man? Do I have to play Brainy? Do I have to go on Hey Arnold? And I've never even, I've seen, clips of Hey Arnold, but I've never actually watched it. Am I going to have to binge Hey Arnold so I can get into the role, get into the meat and potatoes of playing Brainy? Is that going to have to be what's going to have to happen? Because if that's it, I'll do it. I can get super in deep and in character. You know what? I think, you know what? Maybe this weekend I'm gonna just go apply for voice acting roles and just practice. McGavin saying, well, ESPN and Disney and ABC got you for copyright. You know what? Let them come get me. You know what? If it means that much to them, fine. It is what it is. But let them come get me. It is what it is. Then we got Jack Russell 00. Jack Russell, how we doing, brother? Appreciate you popping out. Saying, oi, bruv. Just wanted to drop some proper love for your stream because you've genuinely got absolute bags of potential. No word of a lie. I'd love to hook you up with a top tier Twitch geezer. You gotta hit me up with a top tier Twitch geezer, man. Is it like an old guy? Is it why you're saying geezer? Am I pairing up with like an old man? You know what? Sure. Let me know. Let me know if he's available. I'd love to partner up with a top tier Twitch geezer. Oh, bro, I'd be loving it. I'd be loving it. And then Jay saying, Brainy lore, you will realize he was kind of creepy. Oh, what? Why are you guys comparing me to a creepy guy? I've never. The only clips I've seen are from like Doug. Those are the only clips I've seen Doug in one or two clips. That's about it. I have no context on this Brainy guy. And now you guys are comparing me to some creepy guy with glasses. Man, I'm ending the stream. I'm ending the episode. I was gonna end it anyway, but man, y'all got something. Y'all got some real beef with me. Well, you gotta be comparing me to Brainy. I'm not. You know what? I'll have to get. You know what? I'll just get. I'll get like a white shirt with just him on it. I think that's what I'll make. I'll just make a Brainy shirt. Even though I've never seen the show, I'd have nothing to reference. I'd have to actually go back and watch episodes of Hey Arnold to even understand the bit. But I guess that's what we would do. Maybe that's the tier list episode. It's just rank Hey Arnold characters. Rank Hey Arnold characters based on how likely they are to become alcoholics. That'd be the tier list. Bruv does look like Brady. Stop! I can't no more. I can't. I gotta end it there. I gotta end it there mostly because it's 8 o'clock and I gotta start making dinner. But thank you guys for watching this free refill episode. Congrats to the New York Knicks for getting Game 1 win. Spurs, we'll see if they can bounce back Game 2, see if they heed my advice. I'll be back next week. We'll see about an episode usually Monday or something. I usually say that. We usually here Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. But we was actually here Wednesday this week because of some scheduling conflict, and then conflict plans fell through. Whatever. I'm usually here 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays. If you guys liked what you saw, of course, leave a like, subscribe, hit the share icon, all that stuff. Always appreciate y'all coming out. Hopefully I can get some editing done this weekend. I've really been trying to get shorts up, but with work and stuff, it has been a brutal task for editing. I might just have to find some local kid and pay him like $20 to edit stuff. Well, that's all I've got for now. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy the weekend. Have a good one. Tomorrow we'll watch Knicks Spurs game 2. I'll of course be taking my notes on that for what I got to talk about next.